So you probably get a little bit of confusion based on the different pieces of business advice that you are receiving online. On the one hand, you have people telling you, be a master of your business, work 16 hours a day in your business, sleep on the bottom of your warehouse floor and never get any balance, never work out, just sleep there and work and work and work and work and master your craft till the day that you die, right? So that's the business mastery kind of mindset. That's a little bit of a caricature of that mindset. And on the other hand, you have individuals telling you, get your passive income to a certain level, have the lifestyle that you want, have the freedom that you want. Okay, this is the freedom mindset, the business freedom mindset, and both come with their set of pros and cons, and both kind of feed into each other. They're kind of like Venn diagrams where on the one hand they're very opposed to each other, but on the other hand there's a segment in between where they relate to each other and can be very, very synergistic. But they also can be very antagonistic. So in this video right here, we are going to explore one of the issues which people cannot seem to wrap their mind around, which is, do I choose the business freedom mindset or the business mastery mindset? And it really just depends on you. It really depends on what you authentically resonate with. But in this video, we will go over the pros and cons of each so you can make the best decision for what works for your business and for your life. So without further ado, let's begin. These are the two main camps that you're going to receive advice from. And for the first one we'll talk about is the business mastery mindset. This is a really good mindset. A lot of really high level entrepreneurs have this mindset. I don't think Jeff Bezos is building Amazon so that he can live the 4-hour work week. I don't think some other Dan Pena is interested in just having a lifestyle. Like, he's interested in grinding. They're interested in getting to that next level. So they're more motivated by the challenge of business. They're motivated by problem solving. They're motivated by just being on the path of business and going to war. This is great because it means that you're approaching your business like an athlete. And a lot of times people who have that business mastery mindset, which is, once again, is that mindset of you're just gonna work all day with consistency. People who have that mindset are just in it for the love of the craft itself, and they're not as interested in the trappings, which has its advantages, its obvious advantages. Now, on the other hand, you have individuals who are the business freedom mindset. And what is the business freedom mindset? This is the mindset, as I said before, where you're trying to set up a situation to where you can have time to travel, you have time to engage in your hobbies, you have the freedom to do what you want to do. But this also comes with this downside, such as making you lazy. You're not really in it for the craft itself. Maybe you work some boring business endeavor. Maybe you pick an industry you're not passionate about just so that you have time, your free time, to have hobbies. And that can cause a lot of cognitive dissonance in your mind. So there's no right or wrong answer here, but let's explore these two different philosophies in a little bit more detail. So starting with the business mastery mindset, what are some of the pros of the mindset? You're doing it for a love of the craft. Mentally, you're gonna get extremely, extremely, extremely tough. You're solving problems all day. You're pretty much at war with your business. And you have this like monk-like discipline and constantly engaging with the challenges and the problems and the hardship of business on an ongoing basis. So this makes you extremely tough. There are many, many different pros here. Number one, people who are engaging in the business mastery mindset, a lot of times they picked it because they have a passion for it. Now, so that's a benefit. And the cliche can remain true. If you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. In this case, it can be true. If someone really enjoys their work, they don't need to have separate free time. They don't need to have separate vacation or travel or relationship or health, their life. They don't need to separate out other time because all they truly want to do is work on their craft. All they are in alignment with is mastering their business, rather than someone who's in that freedom mindset, who's like, I just want passive income and free time. What the business mastery mindset allows you to do is it allows you to get depth with your craft. If you're doing something consistently, it's like if there's this rock right here and this drip of water coming down like from a cave, eventually, even if it's just a drip by drip by drip, eventually that water is gonna run all the way through this rock and create a hole in the rock. So it's no different with that. If you're just banging away at your craft day after day after day, you get a tremendous amount of depth with that craft. You feel like you almost have a relationship which is very powerful with your work because mentally you become strong from solving problem after problem, going through the war of business and going through those challenges. So that's some of the advantages of the business mastery mindset. It's a very focused mindset. You get a great amount of depth and experience with your craft. You are a master of your craft, and oftentimes you choose it because you just love the work itself, which is all very, very, very powerful stuff. Now, there's some downsides of this mindset as well. Here's something that can happen, which we don't always talk about. It sounds almost romantic to be this person who's all in their suit and tie and you just wake up and you go to your office and you just hustle from morning to night, and you do it day after day after day. For some people, it's a romantic notion, but the thing about that, for me, it was kind of a romantic notion. Maybe not for everybody. To me, or extreme people, it's a romantic notion to just work your life till you're dead. But what I'll tell you is that there is some downsides. One is that you'll notice that every day begins to seem like Groundhog's Day. So even if you do have your gym in your house, even if you do have your little wife in your house, even if you're not interested in traveling, even if you have your chef, everything is prepared, and all you have to do is you're sleeping, you wake up, you go up to the office, and you get to work, and then you go back and repeat. And a lot of billionaires, people who made hundreds of millions of dollars are in that cycle. The downside is every day becomes Groundhog's Day. So because you're not changing up the stimulus, yeah, you're focused on the problems at hand in your business, but because you're not changing up the stimulus by going anywhere or seeing new things or taking in new experiences, every day becomes Groundhog's Day. So by looking at it, on the one hand, you're becoming strong through your craft. On the other hand, you're becoming weak. And a lot of the best people, a lot of the best masters in life who are truly at a higher level, there's a lot of masters in business, but the people who are transcendent masters in business, they have the ability to not just think linearly, but holistically. Let's say that all you do is you wake up, you read only books about your craft. Let's say your craft is, let's say you're doing acquisitions, and all you read are books about deal making, acquisitions, negotiating. You just want depth of knowledge about that craft, right? Oh, I'm being focused. Then I go upstairs, I make my cold calls. Oh, I'm being focused. Then you go back downstairs and sleep. Then you go back up and sleep. Yeah, you're mastering your craft, and you're becoming tough by one way of looking at it. You're becoming strong and skilled by one way of looking at it. But on the other hand, because you have failed to integrate new information or read about other business models or read about best practices or go out and experience new things, meet new different types of business owners, because you have failed to do this, you are in an echo chamber in which you're unable to progress even further than when you're new in that mastery mindset. Yeah, stay focused, blah, 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 blah. But at a certain point, that's going to become a linchpin. You're going to have a point of diminishing returns by even staying so quote unquote focused. If you're not adapting to different ways of doing things, or you're not able to take a new stimulus or new information or have new experiences and then compile that and bring that and integrate that into your craft, then you're not going to go anywhere. At least you're not going to go to the transcendent levels. I'll give you an example. So Kobe Bryant, when he's facing, I believe it was in 2001, I don't know for sure, but he's facing Allen Iverson in the finals. And you just can't figure out how to defend Allen Iverson. So Kobe Bryant goes and studies sharks. So he studies sharks because there's a seal at the top of the water, and then the shark has to cut off the seal at a certain angle in order to grab it, in order to eat it. So so think about the way in which he's thinking more holistically about things, right? Most people who are masters of their craft will just think, oh, okay, I'm having trouble defending Allen Iverson. I'm going to study more basketball techniques. I'm going to study more technique, more and more strategy. Well, Kobe Bryant is already a master. He's already studied all of that. At a certain point, because he's already fundamentally sound, he has the luxury of being able to look at information which is outside the box and more advanced. And now you, as someone looking at a shark, may not see a metaphor for basketball, but because he is already at that point of mastery, he does. The point I'm trying to make here is a lot of masters at their craft never take that next step into thinking more holistically. Look at nature, look at a different person's craft, and think about where are the patterns here that are similar. What can I take from what he's doing that can actually help me get to a more advanced level, rather than me just looking at the typical practices in which my craft is done, right? And studying that. To go to that more advanced level, you're competing in a way where you're competing with what's possible. And that Groundhog's Day is just when every day is the same, you almost become unconscious, and you're just running the same pattern day after day after day. You're gonna stay stagnant at a certain point. You think you're mastering your craft more. Yes, on the one hand, you're getting more depth, as I said, but you're also getting more decay. And you might not see that because it's a blind spot that a lot of business people have. So that's one aspect of it. Let's talk about the business freedom mindset. Business freedom mindset. This is that kind of laptop lifestyle of freedom and travel and absolutely just glory to pursue any hobbies that you want that is sold to you and is stuffed down your throat. This is stuffed down your throat every day, from business gurus, from businessmen, people trying to sell you courses, whatever it is. There's really nothing wrong with this as long as you've consciously chosen it, right? As I said before in the introduction, there's nothing wrong with being a business master or being someone who just wants freedom out of your business. It really is just up to you which path you resonate with more, or if you resonate somewhere in between. The business freedom mindset has many different pros. What are some of the pros? There's so many obvious pros to this. You have time to pursue the hobbies that you want. You have free time. You're traveling. Now, here's the thing. If you're traveling, have you ever noticed where you said you were going to be that business master, where you said you were going to sit in your room and just work all day, but in fact you wind up spending hours and hours and hours on YouTube, or hours on TikTok, or hours on Instagram, or hours on Netflix? So you told yourself, for this next month, I'm gonna ignore travel, I'm gonna ignore my friends, I'm gonna ignore this, that, and the other thing. But all you wind up doing, you just wind up stagnating in your room. This is a very common thing where you have a lot of people who quote unquote say they're hustling or say they're a master of their craft, but all they're really doing is distracting themselves. If they actually audited the time that they've been distracting themselves, they could have spent that same time. That business master who drinks for an hour a day or spends 2 hours a day on YouTube, if you add that time up, they could have taken that same time and gone traveling. They could have taken that same time and gone on an adventure, which has a much bigger ROI than them just sitting in the room. So I don't care if you're a homebody, it's important to find out a way around this. What I'll tell you is that the person who's the business master, they also, they struggle with auditing the time. It's one of the biggest things is not just see what they're saying, but you have to look at their behavior. When a business master tells you, I work 16 hours a day, are you really working 16 hours a day? That's what you gotta ask them. And when a person who has business freedom claims that they're truly happy with what they're doing, that's another blind spot that they have, and you have to really look at that and be like, are you really happy just having nonstop free time and just being able to do whatever you want, or would you be happier if you had a craft to engage with and master? So there's blind spots that both camps tend to fall into. If you're in a Groundhog's Day, like the business mastery mindset, if you just took some time, let's say you're in a Groundhog's Day, or working day after day for years and years and years, if you just took whatever, a day, a week, a think week, a week where you just read books, a week where you go see a new country, whatever it is, a week where you go socialize with a new country, whatever it is, you just kind of hit your brain with some new stimulus, what's going to end up happening is that you're gonna notice when you come back to your work, you will see your work from a fresh perspective. So a lot of times the people who are more of the business freedom mindset, because they've been hit with nonstop stimulus of having free time to travel or having free time to pursue the hobbies that they want, they're able to see things a little bit more holistically rather than linearly, like the business person who's in the business mastery mindset. So this gives them a certain advantage. They tend to be more creative, and they can even have ideas sometimes that are even more cutting edge than the business master who's a little bit stagnant on his ideas, but not necessarily so, but sometimes. Now, some of the cons of the business freedom mindset. Some of the cons are you have a lot of individuals that they'll get that $1 million a year in passive income from real estate, or get that $100,000, whatever, $50K a month from their e-commerce business. They get this going, and it's like they check out from life. They become stagnant. They become disengaged. So the dark side of that novelty is that, yeah, you can use that novelty from travel and stimulus and new experiences and hobbies to give you more creativity and advanced ideas and shake up your brain and give yourself a pattern interrupt. But the downside is that you can also use it to become bored, stagnant, and distract yourself. If you just know that a check is coming no matter what, you're not really that motivated. You're down a slippery slope a little bit. Less motivated because there's nothing to really work for anymore. If you know that you have to hustle for that check or hustle for that salary from your business, or hustle for that bonus or whatever it is, or that equity, whatever form of payment you're taking, you have to kind of fight for your survival a little bit more, and it engages your mind more. A lot of times you'll see people with passive income who are just flat out lazy, right? And you'll see business people who have mastery who are super, super, super engaged and awake. See, vice versa as well. As I said before, you have people who are business masters who are also kind of asleep and lazy because they're just doing the same thing every day. And you also have people in the business freedom mindset who are awake and aware and engaged. So you have awake people and engaged people and stagnant, lazy people on both sides of the equation. The point of this video is that wherever you stand on the business mastery or business freedom mindset, is you should take the best qualities of both and it kind of trim the fat of the laziness that both have a tendency to fall into, or the Groundhog's Day that the business master tends to fall into. Understand that there's both pros and cons to the freedom and the mastery mindset, and it's really up to you to decide what you resonate with. There's not an answer for you. What I'll tell you is that what I recommend is not for everybody, because most people are not going to genuinely resonate with working 16 hours a day till the day they die. And most people also aren't going to resonate with just having a check that comes in every month and then they just gallivant and flood themselves with stimulus with complete hedonistic oblivion. Most people aren't going to resonate with that extreme either, but most people are somewhere in between. And when you can find the synergy in between that mastery mindset and that freedom mindset, then you know that you found something that's very, very powerful. When you are a master like Kobe, but you can also take the time to look outside of the box and shake up your normal patterns of thinking, rather than just looking to the day-to-day aspects of basketball strategy. You look to nature rather than just being so myopic, working day after day after day on your business. You occasionally travel, you occasionally have freedom, and this kind of helps you have new insights, which you can then flush back into your business, right? You have to find out what that point of diminishing returns is and find out where they're synergistic with each other. That's the thing I'll leave you off with, is find out where the synergy is. And it is different for everybody. It's different depending on what phase of business you're in. If you're in a startup phase, you're gonna be in more of that mastery kind of grind mindset. And then you have to decide, okay, once I get to a certain level of cash flow, do I wanna keep mastering my craft, or do I wanna kind of let go and have more freedom? Or do I wanna find that synergy? Do I wanna maybe work for 3 years and then take a year off and see the world? But that's one example, that's an extreme example. Or do I want to work for 5 days a week and take 2 days off a week like the normal person does? Or do I want to have a season where I'm just expanding and growing, 6 months of expansion and growth, and then 6 months of stimulus and freedom? Or do I want working for 8 weeks, mastering my craft, and then I take 2 weeks to travel, right? Everybody's version of integrating the two of them is gonna be different, but you have to decide what works for you. And oftentimes it takes aggressive experimentation to find out what that synergy point is, but you'll know when you've hit it because you feel like mentally you're in the sweet spot, and your business feels like you can grow it at a rate that you're growing it at the rate that you want to grow it at. And that's how you know you've hit that sweet spot. So without further ado, this has been the business mastery mindset versus the business freedom mindset. And I hope that you take the time to audit yourself, decide which one you resonate more with, how you can trim the fat, like the negatives of both the mastery mindset and the freedom mindset, and then find the synergy between both of them that works for your life, because most importantly, this is customized to you. You have to do what's authentic to you. So I'll leave you guys off with, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, we got a trail right here. It's pretty dope. I just do like some self-help, business, communication content. You guys visiting here?
Yeah, we're on our way out.
Oh, gotcha. Where are you guys from?
LA.
Cool. Yeah, us too.
Oh.
Yeah. We're not from here.
We're all.
He's the local. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually runs a big mushroom company out here. Yeah, because they're all about their health food out here, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's very healthy.
A little hippie,
Yeah.
crystal rubbing help.
Yeah, lots of crystals.
Yeah, a lot of crystals out here. Yep.
We bought some crystals.
Did you? I don't doubt it. I don't doubt we just bought some mushrooms. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to. It's like.
Yeah, we're here, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And like, can I ask, like, if we look it up, like what?
Yeah. I'll give you a
Oh,
channel.
now I'm curious. I want to see what you guys do.
Yeah, sure.
What you produce.